Larry Sharpe has traveled the country and has personally visited every county in New York State, listening to people's concerns. The Sharpe Way is a show where answers, solutions, and common ground can be found so that together we can forge a new way forward. The Sharpe Way is the way to mutual respect, where no one has to convert to be heard, because you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want, as long as you aren't forcing your beliefs on others. Welcome to Sharpe Way Radio.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Way Radio on the Voice of Liberty. 585-346-3000 is the number if you want to reach out after the first break. You know, I was thinking about something with all the news about Trump wanting to put National Guard in different cities. And I thought about what happened, believe it or not, in a South Park episode. You say, wait a minute, South Park? No. If you remember years ago, South Park did a show on the homelessness problem, right? So people who are homeless, in the case of South Park, the people literally were having a problem. They were all rushing over to South Park. People were like, wait a minute, why are these people all of a sudden coming to South Park? Don't know why. Okay. So now that you've got South Park, they're trying to understand why. Why did this happen? Well, so they go to investigate. And they go to another town that used to have the homeless problem. And what winds up happening is those people in that town said, hey, it's better to head on over to South Park. So they do. So the homeless people go over to South Park. Why do I bring that up? Because the same thing happened when it came to New York City, when it came to sending the National Guard into the MTA. For those of you who remember, Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, decided we're going to send the National Guard into the MTA, into the subways. And did it reduce crime in the subways? It did. There was still crime, but did it reduce? It did. And what happened? There was more crime outside. So the crime just moved. Just like in the case of South Park, the homeless people just moved. The homeless people didn't go away. The homelessness problem didn't go away. It just moved. The crime didn't end. It just shifted. They might go, wait a minute, Larry. Are you saying we shouldn't have a stronger force in DC, in Chicago, in New York? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that isn't the answer for many reasons. Number one, should he or can he, meaning Trump, do that in DC? Absolutely. I hate the fact that DC is a federal district, but it is, right? I can be mad at it all day long, and I am. Doesn't change the fact it absolutely is a federal district, and Trump can do as he sees fit, and so can Congress. That's the thing they can do in DC. Sad for DC. As I said many times before, DC should be just an administrative district with no residents whatsoever, and the rest of the area should be given back to the states, either to Maryland or to Virginia, so that everyone there has an actual vote that counts. Right now they don't, and that's terrible. But yes, that's literally what should be done. In any case, without that change, can he do it legally? Yes, he can. Do I like it? I'm not in DC. Let DC people decide if they want to make that happen. I'm okay with localism. I always have been. If they want it, fine. If they don't want it, fine too. I don't care about that. What I care is that if you're going to put a stronger police force in any area, for whatever reason, you have to also deal with the issues that are causing the crime. Well, Larry, you don't understand. The cause of crime is poverty. Not true. The cause of crime is black market. That's what causes crime. I say this like every week,
and I'm right like every week, and people just don't want to hear me, and it's still true every single time. So if you're saying, Larry, wait a minute, are you advocating for Trump to put troops in New York City? I'm not. Are you advocating for no troops in New York City? I'm not. What I'm advocating for is local people deciding how they want to be policed and government to deal with the black market, to deal with the problems that are causing the crime in the first place. That's what I would like to happen. So I go, but Larry, so what if Kathy Hochul says, or what if Eric Adams says, I would like to have help here in New York City? Okay, not mad at that. How are you going to fix the problem? Oh, I'm not. I'm just going to have Trump send troops in here so it'll look like I'm doing something. That's a problem. And that is my worry. My worry is that Eric Adams will say, I'm getting my butt kicked in this election. So maybe I should go kiss Trump's butt and say that I would like some troops here and not care and just have them come to get Trump supporters to vote for me or something like that. And then do nothing to actually stop the crime. So will the crime go down? It will. There'll be troops right there. Of course. We do know this. Heavy police presence does reduce crime. That's true. So are you going to keep police there forever? Sadly, they may be okay with that. That I am not okay with. That I am not okay with. If you're telling me you have a plan that will fix the black market, that will start to reduce crime, and to start that, you then decide, hey, I need some extra cops or some extra FBI or some extra whatever. If you want that, I'm okay with that concept. Okay. And then fix it. But no, I just want them to be here forever. We did that. I remember that. And it's still an issue right now. It was after 9/11. After 9/11, the National Guard started patrolling New York City. They started patrolling Grand Central Station. They're still there. It's been 24 years. They're still there. And now we're okay with it. I mean that. When I first went there, I couldn't stand it. And what drove me crazy is when I first went to Grand Central Station, the National Guard troops had M16s or AR-15s. I think no, they were M16s. M16s, yes. Why? For those of you who don't know, they were sitting in Grand Central Station with weapons that are made to engage at 300 meters. You're in a subway station, basically. You're in a train station. Not just that. Light rounds that ricochet. Everywhere around that station is like marble and stone. Literally the worst weapons you could possibly have. It was just for show. And it's still there. This is my worry. My worry is, I'm going to use the phrase a lot of people use, normalizing. I don't want to normalize armed National Guard troops in any given city. And that's my problem. The problem is what people are doing is they're going, oh, Trump's an evil dictator and he wants to rule the world or whatever. Or the reverse. Trump is the greatest, smartest guy on the planet who never makes an error and everything he says is perfect. Both are untrue. Both are untrue. If you want to fix crime in any given city and you require more muscle temporarily while you fix the underlying issues, I'm in. Particularly the local people want it. If you just want to do a show and normalize troops marching through towns, I'm not okay. That's not the right answer. And if local people don't want it, also not the right answer. Now, Trump is saying a lot of people want the troops in DC or want the troops in Chicago. He's probably right. I don't mean to be cruel. I don't have data on this, but I do know. Look, I've lived. Now I luckily don't, but I used to live in a very crime-ridden neighborhood. Many times, particularly the older people, they actually don't mind a higher police presence. They actually don't. They're okay with it. And they don't want it permanently either, but they want things to be better. They want things to be better. And if that's what it takes to make that happen, many local people are okay with that. Now, here is where I have a problem. I have a problem with Trump putting them in if people don't want it. And this is why he said, oh, those beautiful African-American women in Chicago want me. Now, again, they might. I don't have data on this, so I'm just speaking off the cuff here. I could be totally wrong. If they actually want him, good. But Larry, what if the mayor wants it, but the governor doesn't? In my opinion, and this is not a legal issue, a legal issue, the governor is supposed to say yes. But in my view, localization matters. I say if the mayor wants it, let him have it. If the local people want it, let them have it. They want it. I've been talking about localization forever, and I believe it. And I've been talking about local people getting what they want forever, and I believe it. If the local people want it, yes. Absolutely. You should be policed how you want to be policed. We should not be doing what Cuomo did, which is say every police force has to adapt. What about the local people who are happy with their police force? I don't care, adapt. Why? Because I'm virtue signaling. I don't actually care about what happens. I have to virtue signal. That's what I'm worried about. Virtue signaling is useless. In fact, it's harmful. And now it makes people more afraid of cops when you virtue signal. Let people be policed how they want to be policed. Let local people have more control because they care more. This is what I'm concerned about. Am I crazy? You can tell me. I know I'm right. That isn't the point. But I could be crazy and right. I could be both. You can let me know. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe here on the Voice of Liberty, Sharpe Radio. I see the chat. I will get to you, I promise. And more calls after the break.
For the last couple of years, Joe Robach has been telling you about Flower City Collision in Henrietta, saying that it was...
Thank you for fixing the mic issue.
Hi, my name is Greg Sadwick, and I am that veteran.
No
I
problem.
want to thank the WYSL listeners for their support over the last couple of years. During those years, not only have I experienced the gratification of providing you the best repairs and customer service, it has also allowed me the opportunity to see my son develop as a young professional. So remember, Flower City Collision for your collision repair needs. And thank you for supporting our locally owned family business.
Donald Trump and conservatives may have won, but you know the left will unceasingly try to undermine society and spread evil, targeting the innocent and God-fearing, especially our children. Help promote a truth-based society.
Got a caller, Keith.
2025. The WYSL stations can grow your
You're welcome.
professional practice or organization, so allocate your ad dollars here. Reach our huge audience, entertained, inspired, and informed by leading conservative thought. Affordable, effective. The WYSL stations, the voice of liberty. Call 585-346-3000 to advertise.
Hey, if you like history and you like airplanes, the National Warplane Museum in Geneseo, New York is the place to go. Tours, exhibits, events, vintage aircraft, and more. Visit nationalwarplanemuseum.com for more details.
Sharpe Way Radio on the Voice of Liberty.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Way Radio on the Voice of Liberty. 585-346-3000. Boy, are we talking about troops coming into cities, Trump putting them in, and us trying to understand what and why and how. And Patty posted something interesting. She says, do you think we aren't 10 goose steps into 1930s Germany? Shelley responds, we're at least goose stepping outside the gates for practice. Well, you know, I don't like making the immediate, hey, if something goes wrong, we're Germany, right? 1930s. Don't like that. But Patty, I am concerned that we are moving towards accepting authoritarianism a whole lot faster than I would like. That I'll say yes. That's my worry. And it isn't just the right. It's the left and the right. It is Americans who are scared and worried and want an answer. And because they want an answer, They're prepared to take any answer and just, yep, okay. If I lean right, I'll take a Trump controlling me. If I lean left, I'll take a Harris controlling me, or whoever is the person of the day. I'll take Newsom, whatever. I'll take Newsom controlling me, right? I'll take the person controlling me because I'm afraid or I'm worried. And what I'll always say, Patty, and I think you and I agree on this, the key is happiness. Unhappy people want socialism. Unhappy people want fascism. Happy people want neither. So yes, let me grab a call if I could. This is Keith. Keith, how are you, sir?
Okay, here we go. It's not authoritarianism when America is just trying to get back to what it should be and what it should never have allowed itself to devolve into. People today are uneducated, and any what you call authoritarianism, they all immediately equate it with fascism, and too many Americans are out to lunch on that. They're just they're uninformed, and we're very uneducated in our country today. 2 points. Because of Trump derangement, the left never gives Trump any credit. He said unabashedly, I, the president, will follow any judicial ruling. By example, on Friday, yet again, another of these activist judges said that the Trump administration could not block federal grants to these sanctuary cities and states. So these judges keep getting in the way of the president doing what must be done to reclaim our country and get it back to where it was. Your old school.
Another call on hold.
Remember a conservative Democrat like Senator Henry Scoop Jackson out of Washington State. We don't have those type of Dems today, or at least they're not making their voices heard. So my second point, and if anyone out there disagrees with Mr. Sharpe, what he said during the first part, you're really going to hate me. Here goes. We have a base in Cuba, Guantanamo, with 30,000 beds. If you have a cancer, you must cut it out. So I said to people, if I were president, the 30,000 beds, 30K in Guantanamo would have been filled in my first week in office. I would have gathered up all of the blue state sanctuary governors and mayors. They would have headed right down to Guantanamo, and that probably, of course, would have got me in impeachment trouble. But we have those 30,000 beds, and you, Mr. Sharpe, in closing, are the one to ask, why isn't Trump gathering up these blankety-blank governors and mayors in these blue states and heading their physical bodies right down to those 30K beds? We could fill up Guantanamo in 7 days, everyone. We've got a cancer to cut out, and it's not being cut out.
You gave me a lot, Keith, as always. Let me try to cover those. Thanks for the call, by the way, my friend. I appreciate it. Number one, I think you're right. Many people see dictatorship or authoritarianism as fascism, but socialism is exactly the same thing in that regard. Left authoritarianism is no better than right authoritarianism, either one of them. They're both bad. I disagree with both. The reality is people do ask for it when the time comes. The concept of dictatorship or authoritarianism in the past wasn't always permanent. For those of you who know history, I'm sure Keith knows this. Some of you may not. Even in the Republic of Rome, they would actually accept a dictator. They vote in a dictator for a certain period of time. They would say, hey, we're in trouble now. We're at war now or something. Hey, you're a dictator. We agree that you can be that. Whatever, 1 year, 2 years, whatever was the rule. And while you're a dictator, you cannot be charged. But once you're done, we can then investigate and ensure that what you did was for the betterment of the Republic. Did that work always? No. But conceptually, could you see something like that? Surely you could. I don't know how we could do it here. I don't know how we could do that kind of thing. But I get what you're saying. People do want to see something done. On your TDS point, agreed. You hear me always. I don't always support Trump, but I try to give him credit where credit is due. I try to give Democrats credit where credit is due. I'm with you on that, and I think we'd be a better country if we would. Last piece on your throwing governors into jail. They're being elected in droves. I'm not sure the people don't want these people. I look at my own state, New York. The Republican Party hasn't had an answer for Hochul, hasn't an answer for Democrats in 20 years. If they had an answer, maybe there'd be a change. So I hope I covered all of those pieces if I could. I hope I did answer all your questions, or at least deal with your issues, Keith. I appreciate the call as always. Let me grab another call if I can. This Stan?
Yeah.
How are you?
Good, good. So I was just listening to you, and then I was listening to Keith. I tell you, Keith sound a little perturbed.
Keith
and
is
I
not
get
happy.
I get it.
I agree with you.
I think he feels you don't understand. I think what he's hearing from you is almost, I got to be honest with you, dude, too. I kind of was hearing that too, kind of sounded a little liberal and anti-law and order.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing is, and like he's saying, and I'd have to agree, we need law and order. I don't think you can let people decide how they're going to be policed. I mean, because, freedom ain't free. I'm sure you know that. Freedom ain't free. There's a price.
Stan, let me give you a little bit of pushback. Here. I do think that we need law and order. I'm not against law and order. But what I said is you should be policed how you want to be policed. I am a huge supporter of the Second Amendment. And if you'd rather have an armed population and less police, I'm okay with that. If you'd rather have a less armed population and heavily police, I'm okay with that. I want local people to police themselves as they see fit. That is what I want. Also, if I bring someone who I see as a foreigner into my neighborhoods and into my cities, I'm going to feel like I'm occupied. But if I have people who are local to me, I'm not going to feel occupied. Does that make sense?
It's just, okay, to me, laws are kind of universal.
Another call.
Stealing is wrong here, and it's wrong over there, too. So,
true.
Seem like the police would react exactly the same in both situations, not how the people feel they should react or something like that. And so, Trump got
if someone's going to tell me, hey, Larry, when you say you don't want the federal government shoving troops into all
Another call, mercy.
And leaving them there in perpetuity, and that sounds like I'm being liberal. Okay, I don't want the federal government shoving troops into cities and leaving there permanently. I accept that moniker then. No worries. Did I lose
Mercy.
you? Oh, sorry. I lost you. I hope at least that makes sense. Let me grab Mercy if I could. My third call today. Go ahead, please.
Well, hey, Larry. How you doing? It's Mercy
How are
from
you?
Nebraska. Nebraska's now.
I got Nebraska in the house. I love it.
Yeah. Well, and it's because you're talking about Trump federalizing the National Guard in D.C. and now Chicago. But what I don't think a lot of people outside of my area of the world understand is that Kristi Noem came in and took over an entire work ethics camp, and everybody found out at the same time, including the people working at that facility. And they are coming in and taking over that facility and calling it the Cornhusker Clink because they want it to be a new ICE camp.
Oh.
Not just that. Okay, we found that out all at the same time. It's all over our local news and stuff. I can share links later. I'm pretty sure it's on my personal Facebook page. But we also have cities in Nebraska already signing pledges, I believe, with the National Guard. Columbus, Nebraska did that yesterday, 2 weeks, 3 days ago, maybe. So,
Mercy, I'm up on a hard break. Can you stay on through the break?
Yes, I can. Thank you, Larry.
Excellent, of course. Yes, guys, I'm sorry. I got a hard break I got to get on to. Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Radio, the voice of liberty, 585-346-3000. Talking about Trump putting troops into cities, and today I'm a liberal. Didn't know I was, but today I am. You can tell me that if you want to after the break.
God bless America.
WYSL.
Avon, Rochester, WLEA, WLEA FM, Hornell, New York. Canisteo Valley Update.
Steuben County Sheriff Jim Allard says the investigation is ongoing into the Friday morning bank robbery in the Steuben County.
Okay, we have another call after Mercy. It's Gary, not the usual Gary, a different one.
Continuing to move forward.
You're welcome.
Any info is asked to call the Steuben County Sheriff's Department investigator, Lieutenant Chris Kennedy, 607-622-3911. And in an unrelated story, Steuben County Sheriff Jim Allard has signed an agreement with Immigrations and Customs Enforcement.
So what we did was we entered into an agreement with ICE to receive training and access to their records management system so that we can better identify people that are in our custody if they're also wanted by ICE and have the ability to notify them quicker so that they can then take them from our custody.
That's Steuben County Sheriff Jim Allard. Brian O'Neill for the Voice of Liberty.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. We'll be looking for partly cloudy skies, 2 passing showers, a little breezy, temps in the 50s on Tuesday. Bit of a cool day, sun and clouds, maybe an afternoon shower, rumble of thunder, temps in the upper 60s on Wednesday. Partly to mostly sunny, just an isolated shower, temperatures in the low 70s. I'm Rich Cornelia for the Voice of Liberty.
Summer means picnics at the lake, baseball, cookouts, and the fun's even better in your new ride from Victor Chevrolet, the new leader for Chevy in Rochester, Canandaigua, and Fairport. Check out these great lease specials. Go anywhere on the road or off in your new 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500 LT Crew Cab. Just $199 a month for 24 months. The 2025 Chevy Equinox LT four-wheel drive, only $199 a month for 24 months. Must have current lease and household. And the 2025 Trax 1 LT is only $159 a month for 24 months. Mileage allowance and all deals $10,000 per year. $5,000 cash or trade equity plus first payment and DMV fees required at closing. Lease deals require lease loyalty. Chevy lease loyalty on Silverado and include GM educator, healthcare, first responder, military, or college grad rebate. Check VictorChevrolet.com for new and used inventory, service specials, and deals on tires, plus EV specials. Come see how easy it is to do business with us. Together, let's drive. Victor Chevrolet, Route 96 in Victor.
Dreaming of a new kitchen or bathroom? The time to act is now. At Lima Carpet and Flooring in Avon, we're running a huge sale on all kitchen and bath designs. Our team of expert designers is ready to help you create the space you've always wanted at prices you won't believe. Whether it's sleek, modern, or a cozy classic feel, we'll design it your way. Call 585-226-2180 or visit limacarpet.com to book your free consultation today. Lima Carpet and Flooring, Route 15 in Avon. Stunning designs on beatable prices.
See the USA the Myers way this summer in a new RV with up to 50% off MSRP during our model year-end clearance sale. 2024s and 5s must go to make room for our new 2026 RVs. Travel trailers, toy haulers, fifth wheels, and motorhomes. Over 100 brands from all major manufacturers. Since 1967, Myers has been the trusted family-owned dealer delivering unbeatable service, selection, and the area's best prices. Now with 15 locations across the Northeast, experience the difference.
Hi, my name is Greg Sadwick, and along with my son Zach, we are the owners of Flower City Collision. We've been advertisers on WYSL, the Voice of Liberty, for the last couple of years. So I want to thank the listeners of WYSL for their patronage, which has allowed us to grow and reinvest in the latest technologies to ensure that your vehicles are repaired to the most current standards, whether conventional or EV. If you're in a collision, reach out to Zach at Flower City Collision in Henrietta, and he'll work with your national insurance company on your local behalf to ensure that your repair gets done right.
An experienced professional with more than 20 years in dentistry, Dr. David Olivo welcomes new patients to his family practice at 2005 Lyle Avenue. At the office of Dr. Olivo, you'll discover a warm and comforting environment staffed by professionals who are committed to providing the best available dental care while assuring your complete comfort. Call 328-3382 for an appointment. Dr. David Olivo, offering quality dentistry with a gentle touch.
I went through the open door mission and I made it.
And for the first time in my life, I believed I could do anything, that being clean and remaining clean was possible. And I have Jesus Christ and the people here at the mission to thank for that.
WYSL. From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor. 500 help.
Sharpe Radio on the Voice of Liberty.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe on Sharpe Radio, the Voice of Liberty. 585-346-3000 is the number to reach out to me. Larry Sharpe. Today, the liberal. Didn't know that was true, but hey, I guess today I have lots of calls. I should be a liberal every week. Anyway, so let me keep going. I have Mercy. How are you? Please tell me about these camps you were chatting about.
Yeah, so the federal government came in and took over our work ethics camp in McCook, Nebraska. And they are going, this program as well, it was very important to the way our legal justice system was evolving in the state. This camp is a minimum security facility. It was helping inmates acquire skills so they could go on to be, productive members of our society. Ha ha.
So why did they take over it? What was their logic behind this?
I don't know. I haven't actually heard a reason why they picked it there for this reason. Now,
so then have the people who are there, have they been thrown someplace else? Are they still there?
They, to my knowledge, are still there. They haven't moved anybody yet because we already had an overcrowding problem in our state, especially with storm damage to one of our largest facilities out east.
Ah, okay.
So we're already overpopulated. We've been trying to do new things to help people. It's been very nice actually how they've been evolving our legal justice incarceration lane, but we don't know where they're going to go. And they're going to add over 100 beds to the facility already that's already running over capacity. So they're taking a facility that
maybe Keith was right the whole time. We should be using Gitmo again. I'm teasing.
Honestly, funny. We love Gitmo, don't we? So no, we don't. Everything's very much, nobody knows anything. Our state legislators can't do anything. It's been federalized. The feds have come in. They put their boot down.
This is my problem, to be very fair, Mercy. Do I know if this is the right answer or not? I actually don't. And I don't need to. The problem I have is federal government just coming in and making this happen, and local people don't know what's up and don't have decisions. If local people are like, hey, we got a migrant problem, put them in there. And to be forward, here in New York, particularly in the Bronx, the way it was a couple years back, maybe last year, a lot of people have been like, yeah, do it. Because they were all over. They were crushing the local population. And I'm okay with that when the local people say so. My problem is the federal government overreach.
I agree. And as a Hispanic woman born in America, because my dad was an immigrant, my father is a Trump supporter. So he and I have these really good conversations about what they see happening and how they are supporting Trump in this, right? Yep. It's kind of a mind bend, but have those conversations. And my libertarian plug for us right now is when you see the government committing atrocities and injustices, it's your job to stand up and speak out against them. And that's it. And I'll let you go back to your show and take the next caller, Larry. Thank you for having this show and having me today.
I appreciate it. Thanks for calling in. Yes. So look, to be forward, she says her dad supports Trump. I'm not against Trump doing that if the local people are like, yes, we have a problem. Look, I've been saying this for years. I'm not against immigration. I'm against immigration with no plan, which is what we've done. And I blame Biden for this more than anybody. Well, he may not know what he was doing, but at least he's responsible for it. This didn't happen under previous Democrats even. This didn't happen under Obama. This didn't happen under Clinton. Didn't happen under Bush for sure either. Didn't happen. This happened under Biden. This is his problem. This is his issue. He screwed this up. This should have never happened. Now, if you want to bring immigrants in, have a plan. Here's how we're going to vet them. Here's where we're going to put them. Here's what we're going to do. Here's your jobs. Okay, bring them. You got no plan? I got a problem. And now local people have to suffer, and they are suffering. And that's why her dad's on board. Yes. I'm going to call if I could. This is Gary. Gary, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful, brother.
Excellent. Hey, so I had a couple of thoughts, and I'll try and share them with you quickly to get out of here. So I think that what you're saying about with, communities deciding how they want to be policed, so on, I think that's a fine idea. The problem is, I think that we are way past that now in this country and in our communities. It's just
That's a valid
because
point. I think that's what Keith was saying. I think
we're past it because even if I live here in Rochester, New York, I got somebody in Syracuse and they don't want to prosecute the way we do. They still drift into Rochester. They still cause crime, whoever it might be. So that doesn't allow it. And I think, okay, if you don't want to police us, you don't want a strong police force, and you allow somebody to take care of themselves, now they hurt somebody breaking into their house. They've got a hell of a thing to pay, whether it is, local or whether you hurt that, it can't go away. It can't be turned back. So that's where I have the problem. And you need somebody to step in when local people won't do what they're supposed to do.
There's a couple things I want to bring up here. Because I'm with you on many points. If when I was talking about what Keith said, I didn't just say it was wrong. I didn't just do that. I said I don't like when local people don't like it. And if we're going to do dictatorships, they don't go away, right? So when I was running for governor in 2022 and 2018, one of the things I brought up was the federal government should be very distant from you. In my perfect world, it isn't, obviously. The state government should be closer to you, and your local government should be closest and have the most control over you. Now, what should happen in Larry Sharpe's perfect world, right? Well, I should say perfect, better world, would be local bullies would sometimes make mistakes, because they do. And the state would step in to protect the local population from local bullies, which would include, by the way, people who decide, I don't care about protecting you, and I'm taking your Second Amendment rights away. The state should be stepping in at this point. Again, it isn't. I'm telling you what should be happening. So what should be happening is Kathy Hochul should look at places that have sanctuary city status, that have no plan for those migrants, that have no plan for the crime, and step in. I wasn't necessarily against the National Guard going in when Kathy Hochul said put it in, if she had a plan to fix it after. She didn't. It was just, here's a show and let's walk away. So if the state government were to come in and fix this, I'd be with you. They should come in and say, look, you can't do this. You're now punishing your local people because of your ideology. No, the state will step in, fix this issue, and here's the next piece, and then move on. That is my issue. Am I making sense, Gary?
I agree with you 100%. That's why I said I just believe that we are past what we were talking about being able to. Maybe there's a way to make it happen. I don't know. But I have one other point I'd like to make really quickly.
Go ahead.
If that's okay.
Yeah.
I have said many times in the past, I've been saying this for 25 years, since I've been kind of 30, 40 years listening to talk radio since the start or whatever. And people say, oh, don't worry, we'll get by it because, we're the United States and that's what we do. My thought on that, and I still hear it a lot, we're the United States, we always do this. We are not the same United States we were 30 years ago, right?
That's
Good,
true.
bad, or indifferent. It's not the same. We're not going to get the same results. So we need some new thinking going on here, and got to get this stuff somehow together and people on the same page with one another.
I'm going to tell you when it hit me, Gary, when it really hit me. And I saw a little bit after 9/11, but when I really saw it was during the COVID lockdowns. New York City used to be a place we were like, I'm tough guy, I'm independent guy, I'm walking here, right? That's what New York City used to be. When I watched the lockdowns and I watched New York City collapse and acquiesce like a bunch of insane, just little children, just collapse and give in to everything And the worst thing was, what really blew my mind, for those of you who were in the city at the time, at 7 p.m. during the lockdowns, people would come outside and clap for our first responders or whatever, whoever the people were, whatever they called them, for our jailers. They kept us locked up, and we went outside and clapped for our jailers. At that point, I thought, this city's cooked. That's the end. That's when it really smacked me in the face. I was seeing it, to your point, Gary. I've been seeing it for a while, but that's when it really was like, oh my God, we're done. This isn't the same city. If you come to New York City now, and you come to the city or came to the city 15 years ago, New York City used to never sleep. It sleeps now. We used to be called the city that never sleeps. Those days are over. New York City sleeps now. We're now back to being big babies. I can't stand it. You're correct. Thank you for the call, Gary. I appreciate it. Let me grab a couple of comments. Let's see here. Mercy says it did happen under Obama. And then she goes on to say he made more deportations. Yes, deportations happened under Obama. They happened under Bush too. What I'm saying is the massive migration of the millions of people just walking across the border did not happen under Obama. He actually pushed them back. So did Bush, so did Clinton, so did Reagan. All of them pushed them back. Biden was the person who didn't. That's why I blame him. And again, not against immigration, but he had no plan, he had no nothing, and he flooded our country in a very bad way. That's his fault. Trump isn't doing that. So it isn't a Democrat-Republican thing. It's a Biden thing. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, Larry Sharpe on Sharpe Radio, the voice of liberty, 585-346-3000. Back with your calls and the chat. I'll get to the chat, I promise, after the break.
Debunking advertising from the law office of Christopher Johnson. One ad some injury attorneys inundate you with, what's your case worth? Call us and find out. You know, nobody can tell you, quote, what your case is worth over the phone. Nobody knows. The ultimate answer to, quote, what your case is worth involves weeks or months of research, evaluation, and preparation. Many factors go into any compensation you might get, like applicable law, who's actually at fault, how much insurance coverage there is, and many, many other factors. At the law office of Christopher Johnson, the singular focus is getting your life back on track after an accident or injury. That takes money, and it helps when the advice and legal advice you get has a one-on-one focus informed by straight talk. Christopher Johnson Attorney, car, truck, motorcycle accidents, personal injury, and DWI defense. Call 585-415-3803. 585-415-3803.
Youth for Christ Rochester is creating a safe sanctuary and a Christ culture for at-risk city kids. Our basketball programs provides a strict code of conduct, discipline, and mentoring to give our kids the boundaries they need and crave. Our God's Girls middle school program is so popular, we're now in 3 city schools and growing.
We have Roger.
Academy explores and identifies untapped gifts, all while delivering the gospel of Jesus Christ.
1040.
A one-time gift at yfcrochester.org/donate.
Sharpe Way Radio on the voice of liberty.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Way Radio on the voice of liberty. So happy you're giving me a small chunk of your afternoon. I do want to bring up a couple of comments here. People have been commenting a lot, and I do want to grab a couple of them if I could. IC says, the Black Panthers reduce crime in Black neighborhoods, but they don't want us to police ourselves. True. And in fact, not just that, they actually demonize the Black Panthers among most of the white population in the 60s and 70s, as if they're dangerous and going to go kill white people or something. That wasn't what they were going to do. They just wanted to control their own. What people don't get, in the 60s is when so many Black populations across the country were trying to not go socialist. We're trying to not depend upon the government. I'm not joking. Do your own homework. That was happening. The Black Panthers was one of many groups that was trying to do that. To say, look, we don't want the government. We can handle ourselves. Let us have our own places. We can do this. And the federal government was like, no, we are going to control you. We're going to put you in the war on poverty and the war on drugs, and we're not going to let you do your own thing. We're going to stop you yet again. And then we wonder why the black community has fallen under government thumb. Because the Black Panthers were not trying to harm white people. They didn't care about white people at all. And I'm sorry if you're white, it may make you unhappy, but they didn't care. They were like, look, we want to take care of our own. They were literally, I'm not making this up, they were literally providing lunches and breakfast for black school children that the government does now. They were doing that. That was a real thing. You can check it out if you think I'm making it up. That was real. And the government said, oh no, we got to get rid of you. And of course, more gun control. Yes. So thank you. I agree completely, IC. I wish more people would get that. Valerie asked, hey, Larry, what if New York City mayor wanted protection, yet the government says no? Legally, the governor has to say yes. However, I think it should matter. Local people should have more control. That's what I want. That's what I think is the more important piece. So, yes. Gene says, because, Larry, people under the age of 25 or so don't remember what New York City was like before troops were patrolling. Sadly, you are right, Gene. I wish you were wrong, but you're right. People who are young don't know what it was like. They've become accustomed to it, and that's my problem, right? That's my problem. Excuse me. All righty. I grabbed that one and that one. Okay, that covered a bunch. Let me grab a call if I could. This is Roger. Roger, how are you, sir?
Great. Larry, I had an opinion on this, but then I have no opinion on it now.
Okay.
So it's just a statement, really.
Okay.
And fine.
You have to say it again. You phased in and phased out.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep, I got you now. Go.
What about now? Yeah, I had an opinion on this. Now I don't have an opinion on it.
Okay.
I just have a statement. There's no right or wrong answer to this. It's according to what your interests are. And I'm going to throw a monkey wrench into everyone's thing, into your thing about local control and those who don't want the big government coming in, so on and so forth. Those on the left don't want the big government coming in, whatever. Here's the thing. Reconstruction. Federal government left Union troops in the South to protect newly freed, emancipated people, American freedmen. Local people did not want well, you don't remember. You weren't alive. Just kidding.
I remember learning it. I'm sorry. I remember learning it. I don't remember it. I wasn't there. Yes.
The local people did not want the federal government there in their business or whatever the case is, but the newly freed, emancipated people, American freedmen, wanted them. So, but at the same time, that also goes against like people on the left saying, "Oh my God!" Like today,
let me touch that directly. Hold on, just directly, because Andrew brings up a similar point. Andrew, he posts, he says, "But what if people don't want to be policed? What if they want to police themselves?" And here's my issue. If you actually had that way, follow what you said, but we didn't have gun control, and black people, even back then, would have armed themselves, and there would have been firefights between the two. If that would have actually, which is what would have happened, they would have policed themselves. Even the white people would have been like, you know what, let's bring troops back. Because I don't want full-fledged street fights and battles in my cities and my towns. I want to make my kids go to school. I want to make sure I have a job. I want my farm to work. I want to sell to people. So yes, would there have been initial upheaval? Yes. But after a time, they've been like, I don't want to keep the Civil War going. Let me instead bring in a police force to stop this. So initially they might have said no, but overall they would have said yes, because that's how stuff works. Now, Andrew goes on to say, what if they want to police themselves? That's the purpose of a sheriff. Remember, police departments, all of them are optional and voluntary. The only thing we have to have is a sheriff, and a sheriff can deputize. So if people actually, in my great world I'm making up here, said, hey, we don't want a police force. We just want to have a sheriff who makes sure we're following laws, and we want to, have local deputies and stuff, that will be fine in theory. In practice, obviously, that can't happen, but I'm talking theoretically. I'm okay with that. If people said, no, we want to have a heavily armed population, we want to have deputies, and the sheriff who we elect makes sure that we are following the laws, I'm okay with that. And I think what would have happened in the South is if they wouldn't have used gun control and the federal government would have stepped in to say, no, you're a freed slave, you're now a freeman, you get to have a Second Amendment like anybody else, you can have as many guns as you want like anybody else, that would have changed. Am I making sense, Roger?
No, I hear you, but like I said, I don't think there's a right or wrong, but I will say this. One thing is guaranteed. Those troops are not going to stay there forever, and that's what it's always been in history.
I hope that's true, my friend. Thank you for the call. So, yeah, look, I get what some of you are saying. Larry, we have to have this, have to have that. The way we are now, we're not going to go back to sheriffs and getting rid of police departments. That's me talking my fantasy world. I get that. I'm not fooling myself. But we're talking theoretically. I think Andrew's question was theoretical. In a theoretical view, could people police themselves? Sure, as long as you have a sheriff who decides who to deputize and how many people should be in any given area. The sheriff would grow the sheriff's department as large as they think is appropriate. Obviously, in New York State, places like Brooklyn with 2 million people, you'd have a massive sheriff's department. In a place like Hamilton County with 5,000 people, you'd have a much smaller sheriff's department. That's fine. Don't have a problem with that. But again, I'm not against police forces either. But people should be deciding how they want to be policed. And to Andrew's point, people should be able to defend themselves. When you do the worst part, which is say, I'm not going to let you police yourself the way you want, and I'm not going to let you defend yourself, and I'm going to punish you and put you in jail and arrest you when you do, which is New York City and New York State, then I have a problem. Then I'm dependent upon a police force. To your point, Andrew, I don't have a choice. I need a police force. I have no choice. And that's my problem. That is my issue. So yes, today I became a liberal and got lots of phone calls. Maybe I might change the show to the voice of liberal, whatever. I don't know, maybe. Anyway, Sam says, love having checks on power. The problem is always tyrants, whether they're state, local, or federal. It creates a loop of crackdown, black markets, crime, back to crackdowns. Yes, 100%. I would like it to where the goal of the state government is to defend you against local bullies. I really wish that was true. I really wish that were true. Sadly, it's not. So yeah, we have to fix that. Hopefully we'll do it soon. That's my hope. So, all right, let me grab a couple more of these if I can. I have a bunch of these. Massimonawa says, should we be jailed for burning a copy of the Constitution? Oh, different piece. This is a side conversation we've had. We have a side quest on burning constitutions and flags. To be very clear, no one should be put in jail for burning anything that is their own property. One more time. If it is your own property, you should not be put in jail for burning it. If you want to be scolded for it, you can. Angry at it, you can. Shunned, totally fine. But if you are destroying your own property, regardless of what that property is, no, we're good. We're good. Guys, I am still libertarian. It may drive some of you crazy, but it's still true. I do think the federal government should only be used when local people want it. That should be what it's about. Some of you don't like it. What are you going to do? I'll be here again next week. Guys, thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will see you all very soon.